In 3, 2, 1. Hey, this is Tony, and today we're going to be going over how to add a new user, an extension, and device in the Asteria software suite. This is a companion piece for the Quick Start Guide, as well as the documentation, which you should already have if you've got your software installed. So we're going to go ahead and navigate to the interface. So we're going to go to the IP address of the computer that is running the actual Asteria software. So we're going to go to Configurator, and we are going to log in, of course, and it wants all the information. So here we are. By default, it brings you to the users page, but if you're somewhere else, whether it be queues, any other area, and we're just going to go ahead and click on users in the top left corner. Once we're there, what we want to hit is the Add User button. And now that we're here, we've got a screen, we've got a bunch of options, but most of the options you're not going to have to worry about, and that's why we are able to condense everything to a page, because for the average person, that's what you'll need. So we'll just give it a username, because you see the asterisks. So let's go with Tony, first name Tony, and you can give it last name, other information up in this top part, but you don't need to worry about that for just creating your basic user. Give it a password, and this is what the person will be logging into the interface with. So I'm just going to give this like Tony as my thing. We'll give us a password or a PIN number for our voicemail, which is easy to remember. And down here you can set permissions, but we're going to go into that in a later video. So now the part where we add the extension, now that we have all the user information, which we only had username, first name, password, and those are the only required fields. So we go to extension, and then we're going to add a new one. And you can also assign one, which we'll go through later in a different one, but for adding a new one, we'll type in the extension number, and we'll go with 6543. And we will enable voicemail and list it in the directory. If you don't check the voicemail box, then there won't be a voicemail box for that phone. And if you don't check the list in directory one, then in the printable extension directory, it will not appear. So then we will go to device, and we will add a new device. So now we get this additional box. So we're going to give our device a name. You want it to be different than the username because they are not absolutely connected. Let's say if you get a new employee and they sit at somebody else's desk because that person's no longer at your company, then you can just reassign the device, and it's not always going to be called Kathy's phone or whatever. So we go, and we're going to name this Office Phone 2, and you can give it a description. The only other required fields are the Office Phone 2 needs to be in the username for any Polycom phones. Soft phones or any other brand, they won't require that username field to be the same, but Polycoms, which is what the Asteria software suite and the configurator typically uses the most. So then we come down, change the secret if you want. For Polycoms, it doesn't matter, but for soft phones, that could be an issue. Then all we need to do is, once we make sure that we have all the steps covered in the guide done, which is username, first name, password, add new extension, type in an extension name, voicemail, list in directory, add a new device, device name, username, everything appears to be good. And if your network has enabled the network address translation, you'll need to enable that, but otherwise just leave that blank. And we are going to save and exit, and we can now go and we can see that we do have a new user. Under devices, we should see Office Phone 2, and under extensions we have where was ours, 6543, that's assigned to Tony, as well as the device is assigned to Tony as well. So there we are. Thank you very much. We'll have more